Hey, what's up guys? I'm Slepsis, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why you should properly plan out your games and why it's important to plan out your games and why it makes such a big difference. Now, just in my experience, when I created games in the past, they would never get completed, and this is not an exaggeration because I have started many projects and maybe they were just passion projects, or I just wanted to just do something that was on my mind or create something that was on my mind but not necessarily finish it. But even then, whenever I got to that part, it always struck me with like a realization that I was never going to finish this or how incomplete it was. And project management actually helps with all of this because you're able to plan what you want to be doing for your project from start to finish. And there are a lot of types of project management, but the main method that I will be talking about or showing you guys is called the sprint methodology. And this is basically a framework that is used in a lot of software development companies actually. And this is basically a method that breaks down projects into many smaller manageable chunks called sprints. And each sprint is basically just a time period, often between 1 to 4 weeks or so. And during a sprint, you or your team will work on a set of tasks or goals defined in your sprint backlog. And your sprint backlog is just a list of items or tasks that you want to be completed. There are many tech companies that you may know that already use this agile aka sprint methodology, such as Sony, Google, and Yahoo. But there is also Lego, the toy company, and Mitsubishi, which isn't even a tech company, it's a car company. But that's enough wasting time, let's just get into it. Alright guys, so as you can see, we're going to make a Trello board and we're going to have a game document list, a completed list, a potential features list, scrapped, planned features, and then over here we also have the current sprint backlog, and then in progress and bugs. So that's going to be basically everything that we're going to make. So if you had an idea for a game, you would basically go to the game document list, and as you can see, we have 3 sections here: the summary, we have gameplay, and we have the mechanics. And in the summary, it's pretty straightforward. In the summary, you just put down the general summary of your game, and then we also have the gameplay, which is where you write your gameplay. So for example, Blade Ball, your gameplay would be you spawn in a map with other players and you fight to the death, and the last one standing wins. It could be more specific, like it could include fighting with your reaction speed, but that would go in your mechanics more. But they're both pretty similar, so I usually don't mind which goes where. I just put more complex gameplay mechanics in the mechanics section. So here we have the planned features list, and this is basically where you're going to be doing a majority of your brainstorming. So this is where you write everything you want to have in your game. So any systems, any animations, any assets, any models, stuff like that, VFX, whatever you name it. But once you write them in here, then you have to decide what you want to work on for your current sprint backlog. So let's just quickly, we can make, let's say, a combat system. Alright, but the thing is, you don't want to have it this broad. So we're gonna want to split it up into smaller tasks, because this means that you can work on it in faster sessions, and the smaller you break it into, the better. So here we're going to break it up into a few parts. Let's just do it like this. Alright, and then once you decide to work on it, you put it into your sprint backlog. Now, if you have someone who wants to work on it, or if you want to work on it, maybe if you're indie, then it's less important, but you put it into the in progress and you put your name on it. So we're putting our name on this right now, and let's say Joe is working on this, right? And then we drag it into the in progress list. Now this is just to avoid confusion, because maybe multiple people are working on the same task at the same time. So let's say something like this, and once you finish, then you just put it all into your completed, into the right section. Okay, so now that that's done, let's talk about everything else. And it's just pretty straightforward. If you have any tasks that you plan to have but you don't know if you want to have, so it's a potential feature, then you just want to drag it into the potential features list. And if you really don't plan on doing a certain feature, then you can drag it into the scrap list. Any bugs you have will go into the bugs list, and that's basically all the lists. As a little demonstration, this is my project management for the game that you just saw at the beginning. And as you can see, it looks pretty much the same. There are a few changes, but it's mostly the same. As you can see, I have the planned features, I have the potential features, and the in progress, whatever, all of that. And this, I should have had this at the start, because this would have helped me and guided me so much. I was basically a lost little child working on my game for like half of the time, but once I made this project management thing, it got so much easier. I find it incredible that there are so many indie developers out there who make such incredible games by themselves, but chances are you aren't one of those. But this isn't to insult you, it's just a general statement. Most people aren't jack of all trades and have a high mastery over all of their skills. And this brings me to my next point. Learn the skills that you suck at. In other words, become a jack of all trades. And this might seem like a hard thing to do, but it's essential as a solo developer. Because if you have amazing code, what is that gonna do if your UI looks like trash? Or what is that gonna do if you have no map? Right? What, are you gonna go through the toolbox and find random assets? That could always work, but it's not a good solution. Because how is your game gonna stand out over the hundreds of other games that do have good everything? But if you do have a strong skill set, then it makes it less important to have a strong mastery in the rest. For example, since my coding skills are so much better than everything else, my games are naturally going to have a heavier focus on the gameplay mechanics rather than the visuals. But that doesn't mean my visuals can be absolute trash, because it has to be at least on par with the children's games on Roblox. And I'm not talking about the popular ones, I'm talking about the ones with 50 concurrent players or less. And last but not least, your game has to be unique. And I'm not talking about so unique that it's unrecognizable as a game, but it has to be unique enough so that it doesn't overlap with any other games that exist, or at least are popular in the market. Because if that happens, then your game has to be better than theirs in every possible way. Because if it isn't, why would anyone have a reason to pick your game over theirs? So your game can't be so unique that it lands among the stars, probably some aliens, but it has to be unique enough to be under that umbrella of popular genres, but it's not the same as any other game. And this way, players will feel that your game brings a new touch, but it still has those genres that they enjoy. this is pretty much the end of the video. And as always, I had a blast making this video, but unfortunately, I don't really get anything out of it. So at the least, I hope you guys like and subscribe. Unless you guys really don't want to, that is. But otherwise, I always appreciate any likes, any subscribes, any comments even. But I just hope you guys learn something from this and go on to make successful games.